Hello everybody, this is Oak Tree Tarot Reader here and welcome to my Pick a Card video. So today we're asking the question, how can I grow spiritually? How can you develop your spiritual growth? And this is the growth of the soul. So this is you changing from being a child to a teenager to a young adult, and then that young adult develops and grows into a full grown adult, the one that, you know, grabs baggage and carries it with them through life. This is how you can earn your wisdom. So if you feel that you've sort of reached a plateau in your life and you just feel that, you know, there's more to be done to develop your own sense of spirituality or inner wisdom, intuition, inner guidance, whatever, however you express it, this reading is for you. It's to help you develop your spirituality. So we have option 1, 2 and 3. I will put the timestamps in the description box and in the comment section. If you look in the description box, you will find everything you need in the way of links to the cards, to my Instagram, to my Patreon. If you wanted to make a donation towards the channel, you can through the PayPal link. And all the information that you need on booking a private reading with me is there. So have a look. So now I want you to practice your spirituality and your intuition by closing your eyes, taking a few deep breaths, and when you're in a relaxed, peaceful, open state of mind, making your choice. 1, 2 or 3. Don't overthink it, don't doubt yourself, just trust your instincts, and whichever one that you are the most drawn to is the one that you're meant to listen to. So if you want a little bit more time to do that, then please press pause, because I'm now moving on to the readings. Okay, those of you that chose option 1, this is your reading. How can you grow spiritually? I'm not exactly sure how I'm going to phrase the question on the video. This ends up being a bit vague, but when I find the exact title, you'll obviously read it on the YouTube video title, so I'll stop jabbering. These cards are representative of where you are now spiritually, what your emotional state is at this time of you watching the video. So we've got the unicorn and the maiden. Communication with unicorn, purification, undercover action. There. Barnabas and the prince, adventures, discovery, travel and meeting destiny. Catch me. Trust, surrender, leap of faith into the unknown. So you've decided that you are going on this spiritual journey and you're opening up to it. You're doing the right thing. You're purifying your life. You're getting rid of the clutter and the old and the stagnant and the dead and letting it go. That you're trying to be, in a sense, as pure as you can, pure-hearted, pure intentioned. You're trying to do the right thing. You're not trying to harm anyone. And if you do inadvertently harm someone, which is entirely possible, we all try to do the right thing, and then sometimes it just horribly backfires on us because we misunderstood the situation, or the people we were trying to help just weren't in the right place for us to help them. So, you know, that happens. I think if you do something wrong, you try and fix it. You try and retain that honesty and purity, and, you know, whatever the undercover action is, that you're doing it quietly and peaceably on your own. So anything that goes wrong, you're just trying to fix it and trying to repair it in order to keep that calm, peacefulness and goodness in your life. But you're up for an adventure. You're up to go out there and discover and travel, and this can be physical travel, but doesn't have to be, because this is a spiritual growth reading, that you're expanding your horizons spiritually, mentally and emotionally. You know, we can attain spiritual growth by being connected to different cultures. So for some of you, it's about discovering about how other people in the rest of the world live their lives. You know, you might not be able to physically travel due to, you know, lack of money or opportunity or all the rest of it, responsibilities, but you can still have an adventure in yourself be more adventurous in what you ingest intellectually. Like you could change the documentaries that you watch or watch them at all. You could change the books that you're reading. There could be a lot of development and growth through your sense of adventure. You are up for growing spiritually. Absolutely. You're taking a leap of faith into the unknown, and you're trusting the process. You're trusting that by doing something different that you find spiritually satisfying or enriching, or that you find it something that's truly reflective of who you want to be in the world. So it's like changing a career, or for some of you coming out, or revealing the true you. What's been undercover is being ready to be released, and you just think, I'm not going to hide who I really am anymore. I'm going to go out there and just take the opportunity and hope that I'm caught, surrendering to it. So I think for a lot of you, this might have been a long time coming, this spiritual growth, that this need to move on to the next tier of your intuition, or whatever represents your spirituality. You've sort of been ready to grow, and you've reached that point, and you're just like, I'm just going to do it. I don't know what's going to happen, but I'm going on this adventure and I'm going to do it. Hence you listening to this reading and choosing this video. So these 3 cards are representative of what you can do in order to develop this spirituality, to nurture it, to stretch yourself, to discover new aspects of yourself. And we've got the Page of Pentacles. So this is like being a student. So you might need to take up some sort of new study. The Battle Wagon, which is the Chariot. You're meant to move forward with determination. You've got a repeat here. This is about, it's like he's got his frog. He's going off on his journey, his discovery. It's saying, yeah, you must do it. And the Lady and the Lord, the Lover's card. You've got some choices to make, but also I think, since this is falling forward, catch me, you need to find someone to catch you. So, Page of Pentacles. Some of you need to learn more about your own spirituality. So like developing your intuition. For each of you that will be different, but some of you might want to decide to delve into tarot reading, getting yourself a little deck and just practicing and learning the cards and sort of exploring it and exploring your own abilities. Others of you might find that it's more like astrology. Some of you might find it's through a different spiritual belief, or just a sense of ethos, a set of moral values that you want to follow in order to have this sense of purity. But you've got to go out and study, you've got to go out and research. This is why it's about the adventure. Some of you need to explore all of these in order to find the one that resonates the most with you. I think I've mentioned before that although I do tarot, I don't really get on with astrology. It just doesn't connect, it doesn't make sense, and that's fine. I explored it, I experimented, I tried for a while, and I just thought, no, this is not my thing. I'm more of the storytelling of tarot and that connection with the cards, and that's fine. And once I sort of accepted that, I was happy, but I needed to go through the process of learning about this area of New Age, holistic spirituality. And for some of you, it's not the traditional forms that I've just described. There's something possibly new, but you've got to explore it, practice, get out there, learn about it, and develop your own skills as a student. It doesn't matter how old you are and if you've left formal schooling. This is about just doing it on your own, in your own space, and learning. But you've got to do it. You've got to move forward with the plan and determination. So you've got to think, okay, do you know what, I'm going to give myself 3 months learning about tarot, and then see how that goes, and then I might try astrology for a few months, or might try Reiki or energy healing, energy work, or any of the crystals and all the rest of it, whatever resonates with you. But you've got to move forward with determination and a plan. So once you've come forward and thought this is it, stick to it, do it, and work it through to the end. You can't stop. You can't get halfway through and think, oh, I don't want to do it anymore, or this is hard work, I've got, You can't let the horses take charge and veer off with you. You've got to stay in control of it and stay in control of the process in order to complete it properly. And the lady and the Lord. I do think that you need, it's about choice. So I think to run along with the theme of what you need to do is make a choice of what is your spirituality, what connects with you. Because not all aspects of spirituality will connect with you. You're not meant to, you know, it's not, you know, there are parts that will connect with you and parts that will not. It's fine to let go, but it's finding that piece, that bit that sort of completes you, that sort of is your match. So like I said, mine was tarot cards when I was a lot younger, exploring these things, and then it was like, you know what, it's tarot that I enjoy and that I feel I connect with and that I can do, and just got pure, you know, my own, you know, pleasure out of. And then I was happy, and that's you know, that's it. That's where I found my fulfillment and my contentedness with this sense of my own spirituality and understanding of the world. And I think that's what you've got to try and do, find that. And I think that's where the leap of faith comes into the unknown, that once you've made your leap of faith into the unknown, you've explored your options, you've carried on with the journey, you will come and find that part of spirituality that you will carry with you for the rest of your life. The adventuring will not be over. You will still have new interests and new things that you want to discover and learn about, but once you have that sense of spirituality, you have that core, that's what will carry you through. And I think if this is just more of a not actual spirituality, you don't want to learn about tarot cards or astrology, you're just thinking about your own personal development, it's still the same message, but it's just about learning about you and practicing how you want to be in the world, who you want to be, what you want to, how you want to live, and to stick with it and to stay on the course and then find that peace within yourself. So it might not be connected to, you know, learning, you know, a divinatory source, you know, it's about learning about you and changing who you are and discovering, going on your own personal self-discovery. And for a lot of you, it's just about sticking the course, about researching and playing and sort of being free with that exploration and not being too rigid, but just sticking the course and knowing that, you know, where your destination is, the battle wagon is heading off to battle, what your battle is. As long as you know what your destination is, which is spiritual growth and presumably contentment, you will find that balance within yourself, that merging of the female and the male. So those of you that chose option 1, that's your reading. I do hope that it's helped you in your spiritual journey. Please leave me a comment and let me know if you feel so inclined. If you do want a private reading on this subject or any other, then please send me an email. My price list and email address is in the description box. Email me before you try and send any payment or anything, please, just to make sure that I'm available to do it in the time, you know, to let you know when I can get it done by. But otherwise, I wish you all the best of luck for the future. Please take very good care of yourself, and thank you very much for listening to me. Bye. Okay, those of you that chose option 2, this is your reading. How can you develop your spirituality? What's your next stage of growth, I suppose? I'm not sure exactly what I'm going to title the video, but anyway, I'll come up with a perfect title which you shall read, hence you finding this video. So this is where you are spiritually at the moment. This is the phase that you're in. Midnight Prince, ask for what you want, be honest. So you, hence being attracted to this video, are ready to now sort of think, I'm not happy where I am in my personal growth, in sort of how my soul feels, that, you know, your own sense of happiness and inner fulfillment and this sense of spiritual growth. You're not happy, you get into the point where you think, I need to start asking for what I want. Her special place, find your own safe space inside and out, but you're still focused on being happy and comfortable and feeling secure. So you're not at this sort of stage where you think, okay, I'm just going to take the risk, I am just going to do it. You're not there at all. Stolen in her sleep, unaware, unconscious, unawakened yet. You're just not spiritually at that point. So you're sort of getting this sense that it's time to move on, but you're not really putting any work in. You know, I think you're more interested in these, which is what to do, how to develop your spirituality. But there's something in you that's lying dormant. You know, this sort of, you know, it could be your intuition. You know, you might fall into the more spiritual realms of, like with tarot and astrology and all, you know, energy healing. You might have these latent interests or abilities that you have not awakened because you prefer to stay where you are in this safe space, but you're aware that it's stifling you. I think that you're sort of not maturing in the way that you should. You're not, you know, in a sense, making the best out of the opportunities that life has given you, or the life lessons that you've been gifted by the universe. You know, you've sort of got to allow them to mature you and allow you to grow as a soul, as a person, in order to gain inner wisdom. And you're sort of not resisting it. I don't feel that there's resistance, but I just think that you're just sleeping through it because it's easier to lie there and be in your comfortable place rather than take any kind of risks in order to do it. And you're just at the place now where you think that there is more, and I think I want more. So these 4 cards show us what you can do in order to move on spiritually, to grow your inner wisdom, mature. There was only meant to be 3, but 4 came out, so this will be interesting. And I think now it sort of makes more sense now I've seen these, why you got 4 instead of 3 like the others. So we've got the 6 of Wands. What you need to do is think about your success, what you're successful at now, what you can be successful at. So some of you, it's not that you're a failure or you're leading a stagnant lifestyle, it's just that maybe it's more about the attention you get, the more the public accolades and success. Maybe you've just got a nicely well paid job, lucky you, to that allows you to lead the lifestyle that you want. And you need to think about that more, to value it, because just because there's this assumption that spiritual growth means that you don't have financial growth, but no, money and finances are a tool in order to allow us to lead the life we want to lead. You know, having enough money gives you such security and freedom. You know, you can make your rent or your mortgage, you can feed yourself, you can heat your home, and you can clothe yourself to a satisfactory standard. If you need some new shoes, you can just get them and you don't have to stress about it. You know, that's such a stress off the mind, is such a weight off your shoulders to be able to support yourself to a high standard. You know, nobody wants to lead a life of squalor and poverty, and I think sometimes people assume that money shouldn't be a factor in spirituality, but it has to be, because we don't exist in a world that allows us to live without money. For, you know, for most of us to live without money. I imagine there might be the odd person for a short amount of time that can, but they're usually supported by somebody else who does have money. So yeah, don't turn away from whatever success you have and whatever publicity you have. It's not a bad thing. 10 of Atames, but there is something that you need to let go of. It's the 10 of Swords. There's something that needs to be ended. This is probably something that you know is over and is not doing you any good, because this lovely young witch here, she's got her brew, you know, cooking over the fire, and she's sort of tying up this sad looking root. But she's surrounded by the 10 swords. She's not letting anything in or out. She's just on her own in this isolation. But in fact, she's not alone. There's a family of wild boars there. You know, 3 little piglet wild boars, if that's what they're called. And they're there watching, and they're open for her to enjoy. You know, even if she can't go across and sort of interact with them because they're wild animals, she can enjoy and appreciate their life and their freedom. But she's not. She's dwelling on this little root, whatever it represents, you know, and just isolating herself. So you need to think about ending something that's unhealthy and, you know, being open. And, you know, in this sense, you're sleeping and unawakened because you're not looking out from your own little circle, your own little world that, you know, it's almost like your career and what attention you get, that's what you feel is nourishing you, but in fact it's just a miserable looking parsnip or something. Whereas in fact the full diversity of the world is outside this circle, that if she just stepped out, she'd get out of this dark, dismal looking forest where the only warmth is the warmth from the fire, and perhaps get out into the world and enjoy it more. So there's something that you need to end, and I think it's this sense of being unawakened and unaware of everything else that's going on around you, like she is unaware about the world wars. You've got your own safe space, so is she. You need to move out of it and maybe think about what publicity and what success and what, not outright fame, but what, praise you could get, what, what success, what win you could get. Next, we've got the High Priest. So this is, I always find the High Priest an interesting card because it's all about, in a sense, tradition and following the trends. It's not, you don't rock the boat when the High Priest comes up. So I don't think that you need to do anything too drastic. I think you can be very respectful of what's gone on before and what's going on in your life. You don't, it's about, in a sense, traditional worship, about a mentor or a teacher. So some of you might have someone that you feel can educate you spiritually, in which case you can turn to them, whether this is something formal like in a religion because he's a high priest, or just a traditional set of values that you might find you can turn to, like when I first learned about tarot, I learned from a book. This was sort of before I really had a lot of unfettered access to the internet, and a lot of you have learned about tarot cards through just googling it and looking online. But it's like there's each tarot card has a traditional meaning to it, but then every tarot reader has their own additional individual interpretation of the card based on their experiences with it and also their own life experiences. So for a lot of you, there's something that can be used as a template, as an example that you might find you can adapt. But I think it's about coming into your own spirituality and your own authority, because the High Priest is like the Pope, the Priest card, the Druid card, and he is capable, confident and able to cast his spells, do his worship and all the rest of it. So I think this is something that you either turn to in order to have like a teacher or a mentor, or that you aspire to this. That you move out of your comfort zone and into the position of somebody that's sort of leading the prayer rather than following it. And the 10 of Chalices, that's interesting. So a lot of you, in order to develop your spirituality, I almost feel that, you've got the 6 of Wands here, which is, excuse me, somebody on a victory parade, the wandering knight returns. And then you've got this man here is just at home with his wife and his daughter, and he's just happy, sitting in the sun, glorious day, and he's got his wife in his arms and his little daughter safe, and she's picking flowers, and he's got all the abundance of the cups there right next to him. He's got everything he needs. He hasn't got the fame or the fortune maybe of this person here, but he has got what he feels is better. So you've got to turn what is emotionally and spiritually nourishing for you. As I say, it's not to say that there's anything wrong with about being, financially abundant, but you now need to start exploring your own emotional abundance, and getting out of this sort of, in a sense, spiritually stagnating situation, and get yourself out of your comfort zone and into something that you might, that for some of you, you might like to stand out from the crowd, but actually by standing out, you're not exploring all aspects of yourself. And you need to do something that actually is a bit more traditional in order to develop this spirituality and find this emotional abundance that you probably need. So those of you that chose option 2, that's your reading. I hope you enjoyed it. If you would like to book a private reading with me, you can. All the information's in the description box, my price list and my email address. Please send me an email and check that I can do your reading, that I've got a slot available, or like what the time frame is before you send me any kind of payment, please, because it can get a bit confusing when I get a lot of emails. So yeah, I do have some slots available for private reading, so email me. Otherwise, I shall wish you all the best of luck for the future. Please take very good care of yourself, and thank you very much for listening to me. Bye. Okay, those of you that chose option 3, this is your reading. How can you develop yourself spiritually? How can you? As I was saying to the other 2, I'm not entirely sure what I'm going to put the exact title as yet, but it is about developing your spirituality. So these 3 cards represent where you are now in terms of your spiritual journey. And then we'll look at how you can move to the next stage. So we've got far away, creative, daydreaming. So you're daydreaming about where you could be spiritually. This is about the growth of your soul, you know, your inner wisdom. So I think that you fantasize about being a wise person, a really spiritual person that has a mature understanding of humanity in the world and all the rest of it. You're just sort of thinking about being an old soul. Green Man's Door, Portals to Fairy, Wheel of the Year, Galactic and Gaian entry points. So you're sort of really reaching, you're fantasizing and reaching for the door. You're thinking about where you could go. You're daydreaming about what you could be like spiritually, what the next phase of your spirituality is for you. And you're really thinking about the nurturing and what you can grow in your life. This is good. Secret doorway, working with intuition, second sight opening, dimensional doorways. Yeah, you're definitely opening yourself up to the potential within you. You're in a really good phase, number 3s. You're a really good place. You're really daydreaming and imagining and placing yourself within these situations to test them. People don't understand how important daydreaming is for us to explore issues and problems and place ourselves in situations that might seem exciting but also frightening, and sort of developing strategies. And I think this is what you're doing, that you're getting yourself into the point where you feel that you are spiritually developed, abundant, that you are leaving your current phase of spirituality and moving on to the next one, gaining even more wisdom. And I think you're really working with your intuition. So if you get a spark of an insight, you're daydreaming about it and you're taking yourself off to this distant place in order to explore it. And because you're doing that and really pushing that sort of limits, I think that you are developing your imagination, your intuition, your gut instincts, and sort of a moving from being at the door to moving through it and moving on to the next stage of your wisdom, your spirituality. So these 3 cards represent what you can do in order to sort of, in a sense, move through that doorway and develop your spirituality further. So we have the Green Man, which is the Fool card. We have the 3 of Chalices, which is the 3 of Cups. And we have the 10 of Wands, which is the 10 of Wands. So I think what you need to do is, you're definitely ready to start that new adventure. I think it's time to move through the door and start off your new adventure spiritually. So for some of you, it's just about moving on from an old stagnant situation, whether that's a job, home, relationship, friendship, just you. Like, you know, some of you could have been eating really bad foods and you're thinking, I need to go on a better diet and get healthy, get more exercise. Other of you might have been drinking too much, smoking too much, doing something that's just not helpful, and you're just sort of thinking, maybe I could give all that up and be better. It's telling you to do that, to go off, have fun, have a bit of a laugh, go off without any fear, and just think, I'm not going to worry about how hard it is to stop all of this unhealthy behaviour or being in this unhealthy position. I'm just going to move forward and not be frightened and think how everything's going to work out, and, you know, daydream and work myself out of these problems through, you know, myself. It's time for you to go off. And what's important here is we've got the Green Man's Door, about your sort of coming towards the door. Here the Green Man has watched you go through it and he's watching you take on the mantle of leaves and go on your journey. So it's time to move spiritually. It's time, you're ready now to move to the next phase of your spirituality. And it's going to be connected to other people, about having fun, about socialising and being with your friends. This is always, to me, like the female support group, you know, the girls that go out together and have fun and have a laugh together and, just relax. They've got no burdens. They're just having fun. So it's like friends celebration. So in a weird way, this is what you need to do, connect with friends. So either friends that you've already got, maybe you haven't spent much time with them, or finding new friends for some of you. But yeah, it's about having fun. So your journey, despite what I'm about to tell you next, actually isn't about serious spiritual work. You're meant to do, I think you do so much of it in your head that in your real actual life, that where you actually are not daydreaming, it's about being with other people. You're not meant to have an isolated journey. It's not about a connection with one person like a lover or a partner, husband or wife. It's not about a mentor. It's not about your competitive peers. It's about your friends, your friendship group, the people that support you through friendship because they choose to, because they like you and enjoy spending time with you, and you like them and you enjoy spending time with them. This is the connection. This is the vehicle through which you can grow spiritually. So there must be opportunities for you through your friends for you to do that. And you've got to stick with it to the end. 10 of Wands. It's a card about being burdened, but really it's about hard work. That she's got the 10 Wands and she's making her way. She's made her way up most of the hill and she's very nearly at the end. This is why I'm saying that a lot of you are really on the path and are sort of there. You've got to go through the process to the end of this sort of spiritual cycle for the next one. This is why it's saying don't get too heavy and have fun, because you've got so much more growth in you yet for the rest of your life. So it's almost like, say, you might feel like you're here and you're overburdened and it's tiring and all the rest of it, but you're not really. It's just, you just need to stop, take a breath, straighten your back and then carry on up that hill. This is why a break, maybe with friends, having fun and sort of having a break for some of you from this spiritual development is needed, where you're not worrying about being wise and learning wisdom. It's something that just gradually comes with time. You can't have a crash course in spiritual growth. You can't have a crash course in being a wise person. It just comes with time and understanding and your ability to interpret events and situations in a way that doesn't lead you down the path of negativity. And I think that you would understand that because of this imagination, this creative daydreaming. I think you are a creator, and this is a big entryway into your spiritual growth. So yeah, you're meant to carry on for the path until you get to the end, but you're not meant to stress over it too much. You are meant to connect with others and not be too isolated. And go out and have fun. I mean, this green man here is having fun with these men that are playing their instruments. They're all having a bit of a party, and once the party's finished, he'll go off and carry on his trip. So yeah, there's more of a journey for you. This is just a phase on your spiritual journey. So those of you that chose option 3, that's your reading. If you would like to book a private reading with me, you can. All my information is in the description box, my price list and my email address. Please email me first before you do anything like send any payment, because I just need to tell you when the slot available is and how long it'll take to get back to you, and if I can get it done for you and all the rest of it. So yeah, so just email me first, please. Otherwise, please take very good care of yourself. I wish you all the best of luck for the future. Thank you very much for listening to me, and goodbye.